missing Calcutta?
Yes, I am. I'm missing the food. I'm missing my friends, friends and family and food. That's it. That's it. Nothing apart from that. I don't get the time to feel anything. I mean, feel emotions or miss anyone or anything in Calcutta. I barely speak for 5 minutes to my mom. That's all the time that I've got.
Really? So how are you occupied? I mean, of course you have your university classes and things. And
No, classes were done 3 months ago. Classes were done. And we had to do a 3-month long dissertation, something which I was worried about, but now I'm more worried about my friends, because I still wrote a few research papers during my university days. Back in law school, I did moot courts. I knew the Harvard referencing and Oscola referencing, etc., etc. But when I came here, it's all Indians and Pakistanis, be it classrooms, be it restaurants and shops. The biggest minorities are South Asians, and so it's more of a South Asia than England in Manchester. Manchester has a huge community. Manchester, Birmingham. I've been to Leicester. I've been to Birmingham, and then there, it's a huge South Asian community. So even in class, most of the international students were from India or Pakistan or Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and then they found it really, really difficult. When it was different for me, different from what I experienced in India with loads and loads of exams, and then lack of emphasis on assignments. But then over here it's completely different, which I was prepared for, and still I found it a bit uncomfortable for the first 2 months. But my other classmates, they found it very hard. Some of them even failed in a few subjects. And
what
now
was the difficult part? The method of learning through research and projects, was that, or the writing? What was really difficult?
First of all, academics was the most difficult part of moving to a new country. It was not about adjusting to the weather or just talking to new people, or that was not really difficult. The academics, the independent academics, that was a bit different for me and difficult for other international students. Like it was mentioned in our course description that it's 80% self-study and 20% classroom lectures in it. So I expected independent study, but the reality over here is a bit more independent than I expected. So you have to keep yourself motivated day in, day out. If you miss one day, if you're sick, or if you go out, if you miss one day, then you kind of lag behind the home students. And there's very little difference between our intellectual faculty and their intelligence, because people who actually study, most of the home students, they don't go to university. They get into vocational training, they get into construction or anything, whatever they like to do. But people who actually get into academics, there's barely any kind of difference in terms of IQ. Even they are very intelligent, of what I've experienced over the past 1 year. So what I realized, what I calculated, if you slag 1 day or 2 days, even then you fall behind them, because ultimately they are allowed to work full time. They can take up a job alongside doing full time university, whereas we are not allowed to do it. That was one of the main reasons. In the month of June and July, I missed out on very, very good opportunities in sport. They were happy. They liked me, which I'll come to it later. So yeah, talking about academics, they focus on clarity. They focus on plagiarism, which is very, very important. Again, I expected it, but then they're even more serious about plagiarism. They kind of displayed right in our first class, no introduction, nothing. The first thing the professors did were display last year's dissertation of a few Indian students, and they matched both the dissertations, 50% self-plagiarism. The professor told us, if you do this, your 17 grand, 18 grand, whatever your international student fee is, it goes down the line, because we are not reluctant. You have to show your authenticity. You have to show your clarity. There are no examinations. There are no vivas. It's only assignment and dissertation. So your originality has to come out. So this is not what they teach us in India. Like even during the small 3000 word assessments, even during the class discussions where you have to quickly 3-hour tutorials, you have to quickly make the presentations and all, which is very good. I think this is how it should be. But even then, you have to kind of revolutionize the sporting fraternity. And within those 15-20 minutes or 30 minutes small presentations, you have to come up with something new. So it's very challenging. It's enriching as well. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And even during those 3000 word assessments, you have to bring something new, which again I had experience in, because I had written a lot of research papers. but my friends, they really struggle with that, because what most of us are used to back in India, if you're given an assessment, we kind of copy paste from the internet, and then there's no plagiarism check, there's nothing. So that is what we all are used to. Even I did that in my first 3 years of law school, but after coming here, there was a massive difference. So yeah, the originality, the authenticity, and even at master's level, they're very particular about referencing. Even if you're authentic, even if you are
Yes.
even if your work is original, but then the part which you are paraphrasing, obviously we're allowed to paraphrase 10% of our, so we can use other language, we can paraphrase it, and then we have to give credit to them. If we do not give credit to the authors in a proper format, even if we are paraphrasing good academic English, legal English in sports, we had a module of sports law, even if the format is not correct, they deduct marks. And as a result, yeah, my average marks has been between 68, 69, 70, whereas the home students have been like 75, 73 average marks. Obviously, there are students who have got over 80. Nobody got in 90s. They don't give marks in 90s. I spoke to students from other courses as well. They barely get marks in 90s, because 70% is distinction, so it's very difficult to get above 70. So mine has been average between 65 and 69. And depending upon my dissertation, I'd either get an overall distinction or a merit, somewhere between the distinction and a merit. Whereas again, the other international students, they have got in 50, the passing mark is 50, some of them got 36, 48, 52, some of them, most of them barely passed 52, 55. So it was sad to see.
So you think the main reason was because of the independent study that they couldn't manage and managed to do? Or was it the writing? I mean, academic writing is also something which Indian students find it difficult to
Yeah.
cope with when they're there. So did
It
you
was a mix
find
of
that a
everything.
challenge?
It was a mix of everything. No, academic English was not that difficult for me. It was different again, but because I did research papers and moot courts back in law school, so I was used to legal English, and which is kind of similar to academic English. So I did a lot of drafting and pleading during my internship. So I, it would be safe to say I got away with it, because I was used to it. I never realized that I'm going to do a master's in England. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be different. But then when I realized that, yeah, I can do this. I've seen this, and the professors are accepting this. And but what the real challenge for me during those assessments were, since I did most of my education in India, or all of my education in India, so the references that I used were in relation to the All India Football Federation, the hierarchies of Indian sporting journals, and all the knowledge that I have had. And they did not, the professors did not accept it, because they're all PhDs from different things. Their area of expertise are from football in Japan or soft power in Qatar, but they all stick to European formats and European referencing. Even our professor who's published a book, the one who showed those Indian students plagiarism thing, even that professor's area of expertise is on Qatar, and he shared pieces of his work. Even then, he after each and every paragraph, he related it to how is Qatar emerging as a soft power in relation to the European existing economy in sport. So they kind of keep relating to it. So they do not accept the African format. They do not accept references from anywhere except Europe. So that was what I thought. They mentioned it in class, but I thought if there's nowhere in the student portal or in the instruction, it was mentioned that you cannot use sources from anywhere else except Europe. So I still used it, and then that was the main part where my marks got deducted. I was like, fine, so I won't use it. So yeah, it was a learning curve. So in my dissertation, I've done my dissertation on sustainability, to regulation of sustainable practices in sport in the different football leagues of United Kingdom. So even then, there are only small paragraphs where I have related sustainable practices to UK, China, India, and USA. 90% of this has been UK, and UK to be safe. So yeah, next Monday is my submission. I'm done with my proofreading. I'll just make my cover page, and by tonight or tomorrow I'll upload it. So
With that,
yeah, in October I'll get my feedback, and
right.
yeah. So
But your program was business management and sport business management and policy.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah,
so,
you remember the full
yes.
name.
So I mean, how did you, what do you think of this program? If, you know, um, you did a law program first and then you went into sports because that was your, the area that you were so passionate about. So
Yeah,
do you think this course, taught you what you really wanted to learn? And
I realized that there's so much more than I already knew. I thought I have something chalked out in mind that this is what I've worked in, this is what European football looks like. But after coming here, I saw that there's a gazillion of opportunities, there are a gazillion of different verticals. Even in terms of sport, there are certain terminologies and areas which I didn't even know of. So yes, the best thing about the course was they keep updating the modules every year based on recommendations of different sporting authorities, governing bodies like UK Sport, Sport England, etc., etc. They keep updating the modules, which is very good because they tell the university and the authorities that we require these skills from the fresh graduates. We require these skills, so incorporate these modules. Like you sent me a course from Gloucestershire of football data of football analytics, and they told me that since you do not have any experience, we would suggest you get some experience and then we can do it. So I realized that I do not know a high level of back-end development or coding, so football analytics is at this point in time it's not realistic for me, so I did not take up that course. I came to Manchester, but then even in this course we had something called business analytics, which would again which again equipped us to be skilled enough to start a career in data analytics, which could be inside the sporting fraternity, which could be outside the sporting fraternity, because this is a high skill which is in demand and very few people can actually do it. So this was not related to sport at all, because we shared our classroom with business analytics students, with business level 6 level 7 students, but this was something which is important. So like I said, the sporting fraternity is very, very closed, and even in the top officials, they're like they don't entertain international students easily.
at all, do they not
Yeah.
entertain them at all, or not easily?
I wouldn't say at all, because in my personal experience, there have been some officials who have treated me very nicely. Like I work in the stadium, I work as a steward. In the Indian stadiums, when I used to go, I thought that no, these people are just there. They're just there as volunteers. There's no qualification, which is maybe it is true for India, but over here, even to be a steward and to wear that orange jacket, that safety steward jacket, you have to do qualifications, which I had to do. It was a 2 month or a 3 month qualification alongside my studies, which I
Right.
was lucky that Manchester City Football Club paid for me. So I did that course. It's called NVQ Level 2 in Spectator Safety. I did that, and through there I approached the head of security, since that comes under the security umbrella. I approached the head of security. He was Irish. He helped me out. He shared all the contacts, and sharing contacts is not something which you easily do. Data protection, they're very serious about data protection,
Yeah.
but still he connected me over email with top officials like the head legal counsel of Man City Football Club, the head HR of Man City. They spoke to me over phone. They spoke to me over email. They said, yes, it's difficult for international students, but keep in touch. We are giving you these resources. Do these short courses. Keep applying for internships. And if you require our recommendation, we will. After speaking to me over phone, they said, if you want recommendation, you can use our email ID. Don't worry. Whereas at Man United, when I tried approaching them, they, be it in person, be it over LinkedIn, anywhere, they did not reply to any of my emails. They did not do anything, because even though United are not doing well on the pitch, they are still living in 2013, where they're the best club in the world. They have that sense of superiority, and then they don't even entertain any sponsors or investors that come in. It's only they pick their sponsors and investors. Whereas there are 40,000 registered organized sporting football clubs in the UK, and they all want sponsors. They all want people who can get them sponsors. Whereas Man United are like, yeah, if you want to give me money, I will choose whether I'll take your sponsor. So yeah, it's contrasting that the biggest football club in England is Manchester City, not United at this point in time. But still, the officials are so open-minded. They immediately reply to emails. So yeah, they do entertain international students, but then very few of them. Yeah, I'm already working at a football club which plays in the Manchester League. It's sixth division, but then they are not well equipped enough to hire and pay an international student. So I'm working for voluntarily. So it's like an unpaid internship again. So I'm working voluntarily for
You're
them.
making you're trying to make your contacts by doing this voluntary work, right?
So sorry, tax.
your by doing this voluntary work, your contacts.
Contacts, yeah. It's good for my CV, and then yeah, I'm meeting people. I'm meeting people virtually from who are working in different parts of Europe as well. So yeah, that is what I'm doing at this point in time, because most of the organizations. Okay, I'll start from last year. Apart from the academics, like I told you about that, it's different for me, but for most people, it was very difficult. I found myself in a situation where, since I interact a lot in class, since I could understand what they're teaching, and then I did a lot of interaction. So I found a lot of home students, even they were calling me that they've got doubts in this thing. I thought, no, I'm not the best person to say it. Well, what makes you think that I'm the best person to say it? So when I spoke to them, I saw, yeah, even they are struggling, because masters is not easy even for them. They have been here, they've done all their A levels and GSSCs in the UK, and they've done their undergrad in the UK, and even masters. Some people were doing it from the same university, Manchester Metropolitan University, and even then they were finding it difficult. So it's not easy. So yeah, we exchanged ideas, and then somehow I've managed to pull off all the modules. Whereas my other Indian and Pakistani classmates, they're doing their dissertation and those clearing those modules at the same time. So yeah, anybody who comes to the UK, anybody who speaks to me, I tell them just write a few research papers in your area of expertise, or whichever field you're studying in. Use the Scholar format, use the Harvard format. We use the MMU Harvard format. So that you get used to it. It's not rocket science. It's not astrophysics. You keep on practicing, you keep on putting in the effort, and then you'll be fine. This is what I tell everyone. So yeah, apart from that, yeah.
But were you allotted a mentor at university?
Yeah, but again, it was very confusing, because she was a Chinese professor, and then 6 months down the line, she took a maternity leave. She went back to China, and then it was changed again. Again, the mentor did not reply to my emails. That's a major negative that I would point out. The mentor replied after 1 month or 3 weeks. So if I needed help urgently based on any kind of technical difficulty or IT, or I got an automatic reply that contact the IT department, contact this department. But if I needed help with like personal interviews or something of that sort, for which a mentor is supposed to help out, then I got very late replies. So that is something which I consider as a negative. But then again, the Chinese mentor that I told you about, she's on maternity leave right now. After 2 classes, I asked for even before those 2 classes, I asked for a letter of recommendation so that I can get an internship. And she was like, no, I want to get to know about you, get to know more about you. So after 2-3 classes, after giving a few presentations, she was happy, and then she immediately gave me a letter of recommendation. Okay, this was a big positive. On the other side, I requested another letter of recommendation from a Japanese professor, and he told me, okay, I like you, I will give you a letter of recommendation if an organization requests for it. I will not, it's confidential, it's very private, so I will not give it to you. If somebody requests for it, I will said okay. And the British professors, they did not give me a letter of recommendation. They simply said, no, we don't know you well enough. You've performed decently in your assessments, but no, this is not the correct time.
But you were one of the students who spoke the most in class, in spite of that.
Yeah. In spite of that, yeah. So the mentor, they will obviously, they did not say no on my face, but then they said no if an organization approaches me, and if I know any of the employees in that organization, and then I may be able to write an LOR for you, which is very unrealistic. That barely happens, that he will know an employee from the organization that I have applied for, and they would request. Nobody does that. And even when I apply for organizations, they ask for references. Now I've got numerous references, but then at that point in time, I was very tense, because the professors were the only people in the sporting field that I knew. So even the organizations are like, if you qualify for the final round, only then would we contact your references. Before that, we'll not contact your references. So yeah, the British.
And for academics, I mean, your professors didn't connect. I mean, did you find any connections through your professors? Were they able to help you in the industry?
No, not really. The professors, no. Only the mentor. She used to send out emails she used to give us updates of general business school networking opportunities, networking events, which was not in relation to our, which was in relation to our course, but then it was mainly for the business school. We used to get updates, so we had to go there, introduce ourselves, and do our networking, everything on our own. So professors,
That is the system. You have to do everything on your own, right?
yeah. But then they do have a lot of contacts. If they wanted, they could have easily shared. But then they said, now do a lot of volunteering, do networking events, do it on your own, this and that. So through my professors directly, I did not receive any contacts. So
How did
even
you
though
develop your contacts, and how did you manage to get all
LinkedIn,
these job offers?
LinkedIn, yeah, LinkedIn has played a massive role in me receiving my both my work placements. I've received both my work placements through LinkedIn, and even the job offers that I get, it's either through Indeed. I've made a master CV and a master cover letter, so it's easy for me. Whenever I see a job opportunity, I kind of quickly edit it on my phone or my tablet, and then I keep applying the cover letter and on my master CV through Indeed. So it's very user friendly. And on LinkedIn nowadays, I don't even have to apply for jobs because I keep getting messages that, yeah, are you interested in this? But again, hardly any of them are in relation to sports. So for sports, even the application process is not easy when you go to different, not only the football clubs, be it England Cricket Board, be it Ascot, rugby, or be it Adidas. There are many organizations like Adidas and Nike. They are the biggest organizations who deal in sports manufacturing, but there are many other like Skechers, New Balance, etc., etc. Their application process is huge. It's not like you submit a CV and a cover letter. Continuously, you have to, and it's not even like once you put in all the details for the next application, it gets saved. You have to do it again. Your criminal background check, DBS check, which they are going to do anyway. But we have to fill it out. Have you been ever convicted, or do you have any unspent convictions? Why should we hire you? Why should we not hire you? You have to continuously do that. So
Tedious task to fill out
yes,
these
yes.
forms.
So that is not like when I get back from work, when I got back from university, it's not like I can easily use my phone and then quickly I can do it on Indeed or LinkedIn. I have to sit on my laptop and then keep filling out. So I could not do more than 2 applications in terms of sport per day, per night. I could only do one or at max 2 applications in terms of sport.
So when did you start
And
applying for these jobs with Raj?
I started applying in last year in October, right after Diwali.
Okay, so
Okay,
that was
so I was looking for part time. It was barely 7 weeks into my course, not even 7 weeks into my course. So I
And how
started
did
applying.
you, sorry to interrupt you, but how did you, know where to apply? I mean, was there anyone in the university who guided you, or it was you who found out everything on your own?
Where to apply? I found out from university resources. No one told me, but then there are so many resources in the student portal. It almost takes 24 to 48 hours if you constantly sit on your laptop and then see it takes over 48 hours to find those resources. They've got a huge list of companies and then their graduate programs, the university's alumni who are working for there. So if you that's what I tell other students. If you work 20 hours per week, that's fine. If you work more than 20 hours per week, you will not have the time to sit and analyze these things, which is going to help you in the long run. You'll not have the time to do so. So I had to search for it myself, where to apply and who to contact. I had to search for it myself. But in the first few weeks, when I was unsuccessful in getting in interviews in the entire month of September when I landed, then I approached the careers team. So what am I supposed to do? Because on email, I approached them and they were like, they sent me the same links which I had already found on the student portal of the career services resources. Then they saw my CV. They said that this is decent, but this will not be accepted because the format and this is not UK format CV. So then they helped me make my CV. They helped me make my CV, and the language that I currently use in my CV. There's you have my old CV. You don't have my updated CV. I'll send you my updated CV. You'll see the massive difference in the language, the academic language, and the format. Even the format. The format is easy. It's pretty simple. But the language that I'm supposed to use, they told me half the language. They sent me resources how to use the language, and I did not know about CV assistant in MS Word. There's a LinkedIn CV assistant. If you connect that to your Word, then if you search for that particular job role which you are applying for or which you are doing, but then you're not sure how to put that into words, which would be accepted by the employees, you just click that CV assistant, and then LinkedIn already has thousands of saved CVs. So the successful people on LinkedIn who have shared their CVs, what they have on their CV, So can you hear me?
I think, Rituraj, I lost you for a few seconds. So you were saying that you connect through your LinkedIn for the MS Word CV
Yeah,
service, and
yeah, yeah.
I lost you there. So
So I connected LinkedIn CV, and then the people, the top officials in their respective fields, I cannot have access to their CVs. They will not share it with me.
yeah,
But anonymously, LinkedIn shares those their job descriptions and their things with me, which I can use in my CV. So they told me, the careers team of the university gave me these small tips, which have come in very handy, pretty handy for me. So these are the main reasons why, because this is the first step. If your CV and cover, even more importantly, if your cover letter is not good enough, they just scan it for 5 seconds and they throw it. Next, swipe down, swipe down, swipe down, next person. So it's very important. Then comes the interview round, then comes the second assessment round, then comes the HR round. So yeah, since October I was looking for part-time. I was looking for part-time job because I can't do more than 20 hours. So I was ready to work voluntarily, like for free, but then even the companies were like, no, COVID is a distant memory now. Now the United Kingdom government, they have made a very good business environment. We want to grow. We are looking for individuals who are passionate and who can invest their full time into our businesses. You are a student, you're an international student, you will not be able, you're not allowed to invest your full time. You can only do 20 hours. And even if you work for free, first of all, we won't hire you as an intern. We won't ask you to work for free because the workload is very high. You have to contribute to our increased business development. So we cannot hire you. So October, November, December, so I kept searching for such jobs, and I did not do any kind of part-time job. The only part-time job that I did was as a steward at Manchester City Football Club, which is again only 5 hours on match days, and that's maximum 10 or 15 hours per month. So that's because I wanted to have contacts in Man City, and then I got to watch the games for free, which again was it was relaxing for me. So yeah, through that I did not know Man City would pay for my NVQ level 2. Now I'm going to start working for Man United, and I already have that NVQ level 2 thing, so I don't have to do it again. Now I can do my NVQ level 3 and then become a supervisor in a stadium, and then there's an option for me right there. So yeah, the only thing that I did was Man City, 5 hours, 10 hours per month. So after December, in January, I got my first work placement again through LinkedIn, the student-led consultancy within the university. So he contacted me. We'd like to call you for an interview, and yeah, this is voluntary if you want to do. So there, I learned about sustainability, how much climate change. Because in India, nobody cares about the environment. Nobody cares about climate change. So I was not sure, should I take this, should I not take this. They're more about community building, social impact. They've only got a few clients in sport, so this is not something that I'm familiar with. But still, I said something is better than nothing, and let's take the work placement. And then I realized the importance of sustainability, even in terms of not only caring about the environment, but in terms of money as well. Each and every sporting product, each and every Nike, Adidas shoes, anything, it's mentioned 90% of the substance of this product is made from recycled products. We care a lot about zero carbon emissions, net carbon. Even the mayor of Manchester has a target of 30,000 zero carbon homes. So even in terms of investments and sponsorships, in terms of generating money, the investors are like, if you don't care about global warming, if you don't care about sustainability, we're not going to invest in you. Because in the long run, you're not good enough. You're not going to get me money. You're not going to create a sustained growth of revenue with my money. So that is the importance of sustainability. That's when I realized that yeah, I should do my dissertation in sustainability, and maybe that would help me get a better job, because very few people talk about sustainability during their job interview. So that is something which could set me apart from the crowd. So that is how I decided. Then I did a few projects with the mayor's office in Manchester, with the Sikh community in Manchester. Now, even now, they're doing some project, but I'm no longer working with them. So in the month of June, I got a work placement in a football club called Bagley Athletic Football Club, and they are still trying to resurrect themselves. Like they're playing in the Manchester League, but then they're not in a very good condition in terms of funding. And even though they get funding, everybody gets funding from the government. This is what I've realized. Everybody gets all the home students and people who are settled there. They get funding from the government. So yeah, I'm working as a business development support. with them. And yeah, so whenever I had job interviews, all the companies told me the same: you contact us after September, contact us after October, after you become eligible to work full time. So I qualified for the final round of a post called Inside Sales Coordinator at Manchester City Football Club. Okay, that was pretty good. The money was good. Forget about the money, the experience, the CV. If I have Man City on my CV, then that would have been great. After the first round, they called me for the second round, but then again, they emailed me about my visa status. I said, I will be eligible to work full time since September. So can I please request a 20-hour part-time thing? And they said, no. June, July, you would be doing your dissertation. You won't be able to invest. You're not allowed to invest your full time, whereas we are looking the right candidate to invest minimum 40 hours per week. Starting in the month of June. We'll again be hiring in the month of December, January, so you can contact us. Right. So a few weeks down the line, I saw LinkedIn updates from two of my home student classmates who are home students, that I'm excited to share. I'm starting a new post as an inside sales coordinator at Man City Football Club. So since they had no restrictions, so they were taking. So I congratulated them, and then I'm still in touch with them because again, when I apply in December, I will be using them as my references. So I'm in touch with them. So that was fine. So
Connection is very important to maintain with
yeah,
everyone that you can.
the follow
So
the
it's
follow up is pretty important.
yeah, yeah. This is really good that you're doing this.
Yeah. And then in the month of August, I applied for, it was like a dream job for me. I got through the first round of the partnerships assistant at Manchester United. So a graduate job at Man United, I cleared the first round,
Wow.
CV and cover letter. They called me for an interview. I cleared the second round. Then they called me for the final round, and I was very excited, very nervous. I again emailed that professor, the British professor, since my Chinese mentor was gone. On maternity, I emailed my British professor, and all the Chinese, Indian, and Japanese professors were on annual leave. So in the month of June, July, they're always on annual leave. So I emailed the British professor, I need help. I do not have experience in the final round of such a big organization. He did not reply to my email. This was a big disappointment in the month of only 3-4 weeks ago, not even a month ago. He did not reply on time. I emailed the careers team. Within 10 hours, they fixed an appointment for me because within 24 hours, I had my interview. So within 10 hours, I attached the job description and what's going to happen in the final round. So when I went for the preparation, they were more prepared than me.
Okay.
The person, I think her name is Gemma, she kind of made 100, 200 word notes on what to expect and how to answer them. And I was very impressed. Like, from the first day, the careers team has been helping me. But then even at such a short notice, at 9 o'clock at night, I booked a meeting, and at 11 o'clock, Gemma came prepared with all the points. Then she emailed me, and then I was happy, I was prepared. And they said it's going to be a 30-minute interview, but it got stretched to a 55-minute interview. In the final round, there were 2 people, and they're very good professionals there. The hiring managers over here, very good professionals. They keep one person to ask questions. They keep the other person to take notes, that which question makes me lose my eye contact from the screen, which is going to make me wondering whether I'm sweating or not. Keep a note of the body language, keep a note of the answers. They are very good professionals. So yeah, so that got stretched, which was again a positive thing. 55-minute interview. We spoke a lot. And then they were like, yeah, well, obviously you can't understand whether it's going well, whether they are happy with you or they are very sad, they're not liking you at all. It's very difficult to understand from their body language. So they said, yeah, good amount of preparation. Obviously, whether you get selected or not, you'll get feedback anyway. So yeah, good luck. So then within 24 hours, I got an email that out of congratulations. When I saw congratulations over there, I said, did I get the job? Then they said, congratulations, out of 3,000 people, you were in the top 10, but we took only 4. So better luck next time.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
oh. But yeah, these were positives, that yeah, Man City, they did not take me because of my restrictions, not because of my inability or ability. Man United, again, there were only 4 places. So yeah, these are positives. Again, there were interviews where I did not perform well, where I did not do well. So they did not take me because of my inability and not because of my restricted hours. And then they gave me constructive feedback that you kind of regressed from the question, so you should stick to the question. So they gave me constructive feedback, and it has been a good learning curve. And also there have been organizations who are ready to pay me, who are ready to sponsor my visa, obviously 3-4 months later based on my performance. But then they said, even though you don't have restrictions after submitting your dissertation, we will not hire you right now. You show us your proof of post-study work permit, you clear all your modules, you get us that letter from the home office or get us that post-study work permit, then we will hire you. So that would not be until November, late November, early December. So let's see
that's
how
a
it goes.
promise of hiring, or you hope to get the
Is
job?
that what?
You hope to get the job after you
No,
get
there's
the
no
PhD?
promise. There's no promise. They said you apply again. We like you, but then you apply again. You go through the process again, and then
But I mean, even though you're actually probably going to really have your jobs once you have the PSW, but doing all this, interviews and applications is
yeah,
you learn how to do it, so it'll be, an easier process for you later.
yeah,
Have your PSW. So that's really good to hear that gradually utilizing and you're keeping in touch with everyone. That's also fantastic.
yeah. But it's been difficult because I can't stay away. Now I have to stay away from football. I can't play. I can't hit the gym because I've torn my ligament.
So overall, are you glad that you made this decision to study in UK and
Yeah, I'm more than happy. But then that's a biased decision because I'm a massive England fan, and this is where I'm getting to stay and work and live within the sporting fraternity. Work for Man City, and I'll start working for Man United. I'm in touch with officials from the England football associations. I've got opportunities from India who are ready to sponsor a license called an FA intermediary license. If I get that license, I would be able to act as a agent, as a sports agent, which involves a huge amount of money again. So I've got offers from, you have to pay 50,000 rupees to get that license, but then I've got companies from India who are looking to build their business in the UK, and they have offered that, yeah, we are ready to pay. So I am more than happy to stay and work here, even with the university. But if I wouldn't have been a sports fan, if I would have been a normal student who is still considering whether I should go to USA or New Zealand or UK, I would say I would still come to the UK and not go to other places, but I would not come to Manchester.
why is that?
I would not come to Manchester because this is not London, Manchester, Birmingham. This is not like, it doesn't feel like England. There's too much diversity, and Manchester has the highest amount of knife crimes. So it's not the safest of places. Again, not the safest of places, and there's.
Because I remember Manchester was the place you always wanted to be in because of the football club.
I still want to be. I still want to be here, but then that decision is biased because of my personal feelings towards the country and towards the place. But as a normal student, I would not recommend Manchester to them, because I can take care of myself. I know the people now. I'm in contact with the mayor's office as well, so my safety is fine. But everybody does not have the luxury of being safe. There are so many crimes. I know friends personally who are mugged, who got their noses broken, their money, their phones, everything was stolen. In some cases, they got their money and phone back. In some cases, they did not get their money and phone back because the criminals got away with it. Yeah, it's not only Manchester, it's Manchester, Birmingham, Leicester, Wembley. Wembley is again almost London because it's in the outskirts of London. So yeah, these are the places with highest number of Arabs and South Asian population. So even the crime rates are high in these places.
And why did you say that you would advise others to come to UK and not go to US or New Zealand or any other country? Why UK over this other country?
Because first of all, because I have got experience within the UK. I'm not sure. I've only heard stories. I've spoken to people from Canada, USA, and Australia. So the kind of effort they are putting in and the kind of results that they are getting, I feel, in terms of academics and in terms of respect, the people are really nice. The people are extremely respectful, even when they reject you, even when they're not happy with you, even as an employer at your workplace, even as an employer at your part-time job. If you're not doing well, they don't blast you off. Whereas I've heard stories in USA and Canada that your employers kind of it almost becomes a mental torture to you to again see their faces again next day at work, next day at your workplace. And even in terms of academics, even I don't know, uh, I've heard stories where there have been fights between the students and professors in Canada. So plus on top of that, if somebody is doing a master's, then it's just 1 year, which is again, I've spoken to a few employers from Republic of Ireland and Canada, and even in Africa. They said that it's the same for us. We don't really care. We don't even care. To be honest with you, we don't even care what course you're doing, as long as your skills are transferable, as long as your experience, whatever field you have experiences in, it is transferable, which is gonna contribute to our business. It's fine. It doesn't matter whether you have a UK 1 year degree or a USA 2 year degree or New Zealand degree. That is secondary. Obviously, we consider it, but that is secondary. So it's economically feasible, and it's a lot time saving as well, because within 1 year you get a master's, which is almost equivalent to masters in other countries. And the native people are extremely respectful. They follow the law, and yeah, even when they're disappointed with you, they express it in a very rational manner, which is unexpected. Which is unexpected. I mean, I work in the kitchen, in a very busy kitchen, in a boiling kitchen. Even if people touch me by mistake, they apologize to me, and then I'm not used to this in India. Why am I getting such special treatment? They're like, no, this is how we are brought up. This is how we are. I'm like, wow.
Yes, you get nudged here. So another question I had, you, since you're applying for jobs and things, you went to Manchester Metropolitan University, and you remember how people talked about in India about the rank of the university and things like that. So, how important did the companies where you were applying, how much weight did they give to the institution you're studying at? What would you say about this?
That's a very tricky question, because one of the visas that the UK government has introduced is for students who have graduated from universities, top 300 universities in the world, but not within the UK.
Yes.
I think it's a scale-up visa, not scale-up visa. I forgot the name of the visa, but then that is not within the UK. Correct. So if somebody is coming to UK, that is not going to affect them.
For your in your industry and your program, have you felt that the brand of the university mattered in the job application?
Not one bit.
Not one bit.
Not one bit. University of Manchester is much higher ranked than us, and the buildings are very close to each other. The campus of MMU, the sports buildings, so Institute of Sport, and Uni of Man are like 3-minute walk. We can actually see their buildings. So we have been to the libraries, we have spoken to students, we know our campus is inside out, and it's rotting. Yeah. It's not very nice to see, and it's not very nice to say. The campus, the library, it's starting to rot. University of Manchester, and they're kind of living in the past with the ranking that they have, and they're just sitting down. They're not doing anything new for their students. Obviously, the existing huge number of students that they have, the huge contacts, the good contacts that they have, the kind of networking events that they do, that's good. That's good. But then their rank is, I think, 7th or 8th, and our rank is 60th in the UK or something. But I see very little difference. In fact, in certain cases, I see Manchester Metropolitan University is doing better than them in terms of technology and science, in terms of modernization and architecture. I see all the students, certain courses like illustrations, architecture, University of Manchester students are not at all happy with what they have done, because most of the students are undergrads. At the age of 18, 19, 20, they have started their undergrad. So they only know about the rankings. They only know what they see on the internet. So they have chosen University of Manchester. People who want to come to Manchester, they've chosen Uni of Man rather than choosing MMU or University of Salford. So, and they're kind of regretting it. And in terms of sport, I think MMU are one of the best in the UK. I mean, we have a separate institute of sport. The kind of, even though my field is not sports science, but I've interacted with the professors and students of sports science. The kind of attention to detail and the kind of technology that I was introduced to, I was surprised and was very impressed that I'm thriving in such an environment and networking with such people. So, and I've spoken to students from Loughborough, spoken to students from the better ranked sporting institutions, and it's almost the same. I asked them about their professors, their mentors, their networking events. It's almost the same. There's very little difference.
It's just the mind frame of these rankings.
Yeah, but then when they go outside UK, when they go to outside Europe, then if somebody says I'm from Queensbury University, I'm from this university, Edinburgh, then that is the employers know of these universities, so maybe they would get an advantage outside Europe. So they would not
And
know in detail about the
have
modus
you heard
operandi
of
of.
anyone who applied for a job in another country and faced this? Because as such, I mean, I think the rules are the same. Any of these countries abroad, if you go to first world countries, I think they look at more the skills and the education and what you have to offer as a person, not your educational institution.
No, I do not know anybody personally who has directly applied for jobs outside Europe after their graduation, but then people who have gotten experience, 5, 6 years of experience after doing their graduation from MMU or UNIAF, they have told me that, yeah, after 6 years, when there are two candidates, we've got the same level of experience, we've got the same level of education, then maybe they go, firstly, they go by communication skills, apart from the normal skills that we have, the spoken English, spoken communication skills, and then maybe they go behind the degree, and it's barely 2-3% weightage of that.
What else do you want to share about your? What about your anything more that you want to tell about your studies and the academic experience at the university?
Continuous effort. If somebody does that, somebody keeps, nobody has to go to the library. Library is just a peaceful space. If you think at home you've got a different room, because all the undergrads, they party a lot. They party during the day, they party during the, and most of us, even I have moved 2 months ago, but then even I stayed for 10 months at a student accommodation where every day there was parties, and then it's not peaceful. So you might choose to go to the library, but your entire library is available on your phone and your devices, and it's not, and the library that your university gives you, almost everything is available on Google Scholar. There's very few things that were password protected or thing, and even that were not that was not, I did not think that they were worth being password protected, because the material was not of that quality. The difference was not so high between the free Google Scholar articles and that password protected articles. So everything is on your devices, so you don't even have to go to the library. Every day you sit up, and then you go to the different resources that your university has to provide to you. You go to the online library, you keep reading, and many of my friends were like, this is not even related to what I'm interested in. I'm interested in marketing, and they're teaching a sports law. But then maybe I thought they were right, but then when I dug in into depth, and then I read those basics, the statutes of sports law, and there were many basic things, the language that was used, because there are thousands of articles, but then the faculty members, they kind of prepare those 10-15 articles per week, and then they used to email us before the lectures, before the tutorials. So if you read that properly, if you read that once, you'd have that in your mind, and that those academic languages, they help me during the interviews. If I use those keywords, uh, they help me in the interview. So having an open mind, just sticking to the basics, continuous effort, sticking to the basics, it helps a lot. These small pro tips, like I told you, I did not know about. I did not know how to use CV Assistant, attaching it to Word. My careers team told me, and there's a massive difference. I'll send you my CV after this meeting. You can see the difference between the language. So yeah, and being physically fit is also important, because once you're tired, once you get home, and then you sleep, next morning if you don't feel like getting up, because you have to do it again and again and again and again and again, Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you'll do something else. There's no time to rest. So if you're not physically fit, it's impeccable what you put into your mouth, what you eat, what you drink. Once you have a settled life, once you have a job or a business, that is fine. But at this point in time, when there is so much of uncertainty, you have to maintain a very restricted life, which
How many hours of study were you doing per week?
I did not have a tab of that.
No. Okay.
I did not have a tab of that. But every day, yes, 2 hours of reading on an average. Obviously, before the assignment deadline, the assessment deadlines never bothered me, because because of those 2 hours of reading every day and writing about 100 to 200 words every day, right from the first day of that module, I completed my assessments 1 week before, or 4 or 5 days before. Whereas most of my friends, they had to apply for a free 7-day extension. You get a free 7-day extension, and even further than that, if you can show proof of your medical condition or something, you get an extension. So yeah, this is the first time. My original deadline for my dissertation was yesterday, on Monday. This is the first time that I've taken a 7-day extension, because I completed it last week, but then I was not done with my proofreading. So because of my proofreading, I took a 7-day extension. So yeah, 2 hours of reading every day, and should be good.
That was really interesting, Rituraj. Thank you for taking out time for this. Great even talking to you on anyways, and I think we'll do this again sometime. It's very interesting, and I'm glad you're doing all this. And I kind of knew you would, and I'm sure you find the right job that you want to do, and it's always going to be the stepping stone for the next thing. So yes,